One man recently grabbed all the cryptocurrency headlines with his $6 million plan to hire people, machines, and even robot dogs to search through a landfill trying to recover a hard drive containing $163 million of Bitcoin. Now, although it's interesting headlines like these that grab people's attention, there are also countless other examples of average, everyday investors losing cryptocurrency due to losing their devices or something happening, which brings up an interesting paradox. We want cryptocurrency to be unhackable and not be able to get into it unless we have the right credentials until we don't have the right credentials to get into our cryptocurrency. So how do we reconcile the desire for security in cryptocurrency with the possibility of humans making mistakes and losing access to their cryptocurrency? That's the subject of today's video. Hey everyone, and welcome back. This is the Part-Time Economist, and in today's video we're going to be looking at an interesting case in which someone lost their hard drive containing $163 million worth of Bitcoin. Now, they are mounting a massive recovery effort trying to get this cryptocurrency back, and although it's an interesting case in and of itself, it brings up something that I think is even more important to the broader cryptocurrency ecosystem. Specifically, how do we reconcile cryptocurrencies being virtually unhackable, right? We like that. In fact, that's one of the main selling points of cryptocurrency, is that if you have your private key, if you have your seed phrase, no one, no government, no corrupt corporation, they can't take your cryptocurrency from you. And a lot of people like that. That's why they invest in cryptocurrency. But at the same time, as soon as you forget to write down that seed phrase or that password and something happens to your hard drive, you're on Reddit saying how you've lost everything and you have no idea how you could have made this mistake. And not putting this person down, because that has happened to me as well. And it's something that's very common in cryptocurrency. So we want cryptocurrency to be secure and inaccessible unless we have a certain password, but as soon as we don't have that password, we're trying to look for, well, is there some back door? Is there some way I can get my money back? And unfortunately, the answer is no. But instead of being all gloom and doom, I want to show that cryptocurrency storage and the safeguards associated with storing your cryptocurrency isn't just you have to assume full responsibility. Rather, what I'd like to do is show that cryptocurrency storage is more of a spectrum. There are different ways of storing your cryptocurrency, each with different risks associated with it. So it's all about trade-offs and what type of risks you are willing to accept. So with that being said, let's think about the current example. This user who lost their hard drive. They were storing their cryptocurrency obviously on a wallet that they themselves owned. So, if you remember from a previous video, I showed you how to set up a MetaMask wallet. And in that video, I showed you need to write down your password, you need to write down your seed phrase, and I said if you get this hard drive destroyed, you can regenerate your wallet on another computer using that seed phrase. Now, on the flip side, I also showed you that if you didn't have that seed phrase, you would not be able to regenerate your cryptocurrency wallet. So, what are the advantages here? The advantages of storing that cryptocurrency yourself are that no one can really get into it, right? Even with the most powerful computers that we currently have, it is extremely, extremely difficult, if not almost impossible, to hack into a cryptocurrency wallet simply through brute force. The flip side of that is that if you lose access to that wallet, there's not a lot of recovery options. Now, the flip side is, well, what if I don't trust myself? What if I know that I make a lot of mistakes, or I'm just accident and error prone in general? Well, you can store cryptocurrency with Celsius or Coinbase or any number of centralized custodians. The advantage here is that if you lose your hard drive, if your entire house gets burned down, well, you can call up customer support, you can verify your identity, and they will get you back into your cryptocurrency accounts. So for many people, that is a sense of security for them. However, What's the downside? Well, instead of relying on yourself to keep your crypto safe, you're trusting someone else. And as we saw with Celsius, the company made some, I don't want to make accusations, of course, but there was not some good management practices, or maybe a better way of saying it, customers didn't know the extent of what was happening with their funds, and they went to pull them out and found out that they weren't exactly there. So we mitigate one risk, right? The risk of losing our hard drive, but we introduce a separate risk, right? The company can mismanage our funds. On top of that, even when times are good, even if the company has no intention of mismanaging our funds, we're storing them with someone else. As we see here, Coinbase recently said that cryptocurrency assets may be considered to be the property of a bankruptcy estate in the event of a bankruptcy. The crypto assets we hold in custody on behalf of our customers could be subject to bankruptcy proceedings, and such customers could be treated as general unsecured creditors. So, kind of a bit of a toss-up. What kind of risks are you willing to accept in cryptocurrency? Now, there have been several attempts to kind of find a midway point, right? We want to let people own their own cryptocurrency, but we also want to give them a little bit of a safety net if they make a mistake. And one cryptocurrency wallet that I used to use was still do, was the Wax Cloud wallet. Now, the cool thing about Wax is that you could actually create your account here, not with a incredibly long private key or seed phrase, but simply with your social media account or a username and a password. And the cool thing about that was it was easier to remember. It gave you the option of recovering your account if something happened, but at the same time, you weren't completely trusting Coinbase or Nexa or Celsius, right? It was kind of that happy medium. Now, since then, of course, they have started adding fees to the wallet. They've kind of done a variety of things. But the main thing I'm trying to get you to understand here is that there is a spectrum of ways of storing your cryptocurrency. And I want to speak to people's concerns when they get involved with cryptocurrency. The first is that cryptocurrency is not magical. It's just like any technology. It is good at some things, and it has limitations in other things. If you want something that is secure, permissionless, decentralized, that nobody can get into, then you're storing your cryptocurrency on a device that you own. And it's going to do exactly what you're wanting it to do. If you don't have that private key, you are not getting into that cryptocurrency. If you lose your hard drive, you are not getting into that cryptocurrency. On the flip side, if you say, hey, that's too risky for me, I want to put my cryptocurrency with a third-party custodian. Again, completely up to you, but you have to understand, if you want those safeguards, that backup, like you want that customer service, hey, I forgot my password, you are wanting cryptocurrency to be treated as an existing financial asset. So it's, I don't want to say illogical, but it's asking too much, I guess, to say of cryptocurrency to expect it to be all these things, but to also say, and I want it to operate as a traditional financial asset. When you move cryptocurrency from something that can be, right, a little bit clunky, a little bit kind of hard to navigate, you say, I want it to be convenient, I want to have this customer service, I want to have this backup, you have to realize that you're giving up some of those inherent characteristics of cryptocurrency to make it more convenient, to make it more user-friendly. And that's the big thing that I want people to understand. If you want to store your cryptocurrency with Celsius or any kind of third-party, Coinbase, any kind of third-party provider, you are totally free to do that. But you have to understand, you can't be surprised then if something happens to your cryptocurrency because, number one, these institutions are not FDIC insured. Number two, the whole argument of, well, cryptocurrency is secure, permissionless, and decentralized, it's not if you're putting it with a third-party provider. On the flip side, you want to keep it locked up in a vault, highly secured, where you're the only person in the world that knows the password. Again, I can pretty much guarantee you it's going to be very hard for someone to hack that. However, at the same time, if something happens to that device you've got your cryptocurrency on, you have to realize you've made that choice that you don't want customer support. You don't want the ability to reset your password, right? So, end of the video here, kind of the main takeaway is that I want you to understand that cryptocurrency is not magic. You can't have something that's completely unhackable, but also has a backdoor where only you can get into it if you need to, right? You've got to make that choice, and you've got to be aware of what you're doing when you get into cryptocurrency. Again, not pushing you either direction. Different people are going to want different risks. If I'm accident and error prone and always losing things, I might say, hey, I'm willing to accept the risk of something maybe happening with the company. On the flip side, I have an extreme distrust of corporations. Maybe I say, you know what? I'm going to take the risk. I'm going to store it myself. And if I lose it, well, that's bad on me, but I trust myself more than I trust some company. So main takeaway here, just be careful. Always do your own research. Think about the implications of how you're storing your cryptocurrency. What risks are you willing to take? And if someone tells you that they've managed to solve it to where there is no risk, or they've made it to where they've eliminated the risks, definitely do a little bit more research then. But again, this is just my thoughts, not financial advice. I do appreciate you watching the video, and I hope to see you next time.